Hello. I'm here today with Chief Gansey and Richard Champ, Director of Operations for Sunstar, to talk to you all about a topic that is a little bit outside of our normal CME. I want to talk to you a little bit today about why the job that we do is so different from other jobs and some of the challenges that we face doing this job. This past weekend, I was working at the hospital and I had a 16-year-old trauma code come in. We worked that patient for about an hour in the trauma bay, got them stabilized enough to go to the surgery, but we knew that the chances were this was not going to be a good outcome. I went and had a conversation with that child's mom and had to tell her where we were. As I finished that conversation, it occurred to me yet again how different this job is than other jobs. I think, and this is something we talk about with the new medics and EMTs as they come through orientation, but I think that really the root of what's different about our job is that on a daily basis, call after call, we are not just witnessing tragedies, we are active participants in the tragedies of other people's lives. The vast majority of us, I think, thankfully, experience just a few tragedies. Death of a loved one, divorce, things that really rock you to your core. But then we come to work, and every single day we are living those tragedies in other people's lives. And as I said, we're not just witnesses to them, we actually participate in them, sometimes desperately trying to change the outcome. Sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not. But each time that we're involved in something like that, there's an impact on us individually. There's a risk associated with putting yourself out there to help in these types of situations. And so I want to start a conversation with two other leaders of the system about what it is that we need to think about when it comes to this and what it is that we probably need to do about this. I don't think any of us claim to have the answer. I don't think any of us claim to know what the fix is. And there is probably no simple fix to this. But this is a true hazard of our job. There is something specific about the work we do, whether it's running into a burning building, doing an extrication with an entrapped piece of body, or holding somebody's hand as they take their last breath. There's something different about this. And I think we all know that and may have been reluctant to admit it for a long time to ourselves. I'd like to ask everybody to consider the emotional hazard and the mental hazard of being exposed to these things as a real recognized hazard of the job, no different than a needle stick, and to think about what active steps you can take to protect yourself from that. 3 years ago, we started a conversation just with vocabulary, stress first aid.
Yes.
What does it mean to be yellow or red or reacting? What are some words that we can use to describe this hazard and the impact it has on us? And I think we've been successful in getting a conversation started to a certain degree, but I think we can probably do more.
Yeah, I feel it needs to be a unified message that it's family, and we're not in the fight alone. All the disciplines together need to act as one team and protect each other. And the only way we could truly do that is to start a good culture of successful interaction and recognizing the problem at hand. The way we do every other thing every other discipline that we deal with in the fire service or in the EMS world is that if there's a problem, we try to fix it. But we need to be able to ask for the help when we're having a problem internally and turn to our family and not have any type of stigma towards it. We also like to join and make sure that we have all the resources unified between all the disciplines in one place for somebody to grab at any time. Because it's a personal choice to ask for those items, and you need to reach out when you're struggling.
I think one of the things that we really are addressing here also is the stigma. As the doctor and Chief Gansey said, the stigma of asking for help has to go away. As first responders, we're the first one to offer help, but we're the last ones to ask for help. Our culture needs to change. We need to start a new culture of acceptance and understanding the work conditions that we have, and it's okay to ask for help. That's where we need to start.
So we've joined together to make sure that we have a resource pool that's available to everybody in the county, for all clinicians that work in all disciplines, that if they need help, they can reach out and grab the specific type of help that they need on Target Solutions. And it's going to grow, and we'll continue to add to it. There's a lot of good things happening. We have the Wellness and Fitness County group that meets every month to make that a robust resource for everybody. And we'll make sure that it follows through in CME and all training. The training chiefs are on board to make sure that we're handing it out in all disciplines, both on onboarding when they come into the medical system, when they're getting incumbent training in all the fire departments, and then for a very important part is the retirement piece in all disciplines, that they get the help that they need when they leave a job that's, they're running 10 to 15 calls a day, and then they come back down and they may or may not have prep for retirement properly. To include chaplaincy, non-denominational, we have a lot of different resources that people can reach out.
One of the things that I ask of you is when you're watching this video and you look at the resources, have an open mind. You may not need it today or tomorrow, but you may know somebody that'll need it. So please don't hesitate to understand the resources, how to access them, how to navigate the systems. So when somebody's in crisis, you can be that friend, you can reach out, and you can help guide them. Because that's the culture that we want in our system. We want a culture of helping each other and not being the last ones to ask for help.
No loss is acceptable at all, anywhere. We come into the fire service or in the medical or EMS field to make it all the way to retirement and have a robust life after we leave. And the only way to truly do that is to take care of one another, regardless of what patch you wear or what department you work for. So work together to have those conversations at the table.
Yeah, I agree. There's nobody who's going to see somebody struggling sooner than your partner or the people on shift with you. Even if it's a small change. John, Bill, normally they're out here in the ready room. Normally they're busting up and cracking jokes and hanging out. But I've noticed in the last week or so, that person's hanging out in their bunk room.
Yeah.
They're sort of isolating. They don't seem themselves. My partner, who's usually joking around with me at our post, is just kind of sitting there quiet. Isolation, I think, is an incredibly important concept here. And it's going to be up to us to see those signs in our fellow responders and to actually not really let that go. To say, you know what, I see something here. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not really sure. But it's something that I've noticed, and so I'm gonna not just let that little thing go. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna check in with that person.
Yep.
If I don't have that kind of relationship with that person to check in with them, I'm gonna find their friend who does. And I'm gonna say, hey, I've noticed this, can you check in with that person?
Yeah, I think that's great. And then also, and to make sure that we're covering everything, it includes dispatch, EMS, all fire departments, all personnel that operate within the EMS and fire industry within Pinellas County. And we're plugging in at every level, state level, the county level, the local, to make sure you have what you need to be successful. Because the goal is that we came here to do the job. That never changes. But we want to do it healthy and end up getting to retirement.
Absolutely. This is a major issue on a national level. This was one of the biggest topics at a national conference of EMS physicians just a week or two ago. This is not something that's unique to us here in Pinellas. This is something that is inherent in the type of work that we do. And it's a good thing that people are finally starting to recognize this for what it is and finally starting to have a conversation about it. And it's a great thing that the leadership of our system is really figuring out that this is something we need to focus on, we need to bring resources to bear, and we need to support our folks. This job is not like other jobs. It's just not. There's different things about it, there's different hazards, and there's different precautions and interventions we need to do to make sure that we're safe when we do it. Years ago, bunker gear looked a lot different than it looks now.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And medical gear looked a lot different than it looks now. And our protocols looked a lot different. And we dispatched people a lot different. And things change. And I think it's a good thing that this is coming to the forefront as something that we as a system and we as a group of responders who have this responsibility for the public, we also have this responsibility for each other. And we
From the
have to
beginning
make
of the
sure-
call to the end of the call.
Yeah.
and beyond. I think any of us that have been doing this work for more than a little bit know deep down that there are those calls that hurt and those calls that stick with you. And a call might stick with you because of the call. A call might stick with you because of what's going on in your life outside of work. I have a call from when I worked here many years ago on a truck that particularly stuck with me. But it wasn't because of the call per se. It was because of what was going on in my personal life that made it all that more impactful to me.
I think the goal is to, if you take the first step and you're having an issue, we're going to get you the resource that you need. It's important. I sat yesterday for 3 hours with a retiree out of the county. I would have never thought that he was having any issues, and he told me everything that was going on in his life, and he reached out on his own and he got the help because he started seeing the resources that are coming through, which is a positive thing. So change the culture, strive to take care of each other, because that's the most important thing. Everybody has a different patch, but it's the same mission on every call.
We come together every day, hundreds of times, every day, into teams to help people. And I think what you're seeing here and what you're seeing with the resources in the system is that this system, from top to bottom, is coming together to make sure that we have the resources there to help you. Please, if you see something going on with somebody, say something, ask for help. If you're thinking about where you're at, look at the resources, talk to somebody. There is no reason now that I think anybody would judge somebody, would look down upon somebody,
No.
think differently about somebody. I think more likely it's, I could just as easily be in those shoes myself.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to make sure you're clear about too is that a lot of people reach out daily already now. That number is never going to get shared with you. The security of people's personal feelings, the treatments they get, we don't get numbers. We're not interested in that. We're just interested in that the resources are getting to the people that they need. And at the end of the day, it's a frustrating part as a leader when I know that somebody's gotten help and I cannot share that they are getting help, because it's none of my business to share that. And that anybody that becomes a peer supporter or anybody that's a leader in this organization needs to provide the resource and understand that security is paramount to make sure that we're protecting you on all levels when it comes to that.
The stigma's got to go away,
Yeah.
and we got to change the culture. It is a
Absolutely.
new day, and we are going forward, and we're giving you everything that we can give you to help you be successful.
So I want to thank Chief Gansey and Richard Champ for coming and spending a few minutes talking today. I think this is an important topic. I know it's a little bit outside of the normal CME kind of topic, but I think it's important enough that we ought to spend a little time talking about it. So thank you guys very much for taking the
Thank you.
time.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you.
Be safe out there.